The series finale of Season 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty was just as dramatic as the entire show. In The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, Episode 11, at last, Conrad's, Christopher Briney, impromptu trip to Paris and his declaration of his unwavering love for Belly, also known as Isabel, Lola Tongue, were the main attractions, even though there were a few loose ends to tie up with other characters' storylines. Even though Conrad and Belly managed to visit Versailles, their renewed romance still felt tragically hurried for an episode that was about 20 minutes longer than the previous editions. Too much time was devoted to Jeremiah's, Gavin Casaleggio, career, his romance with Denise, Isabella Briggs, and the relationship between Stephen, Sean Kaufman, and Taylor, Rain Spencer, even though I liked author and creator Jenny Han's plan to bring all the other characters together for one last blowout in Cousins, which meant the episode only had to switch between two narratives instead of several. Did Stephen and Taylor really need to get into a dispute about moving to San Francisco, when it was so evident they were going to end up together anyway? Even though it's obvious that having Denise as a friend has benefited Jeremiah, did we have to watch him go on with her? However, I appreciate her pointing out Jeremiah's fixation on Conrad. I was eager to get back to Paris whenever we were in Cousins for the Season 3 finale of The Summer I Turned Pretty. No one yearns as much as Isabel Conklin and Conrad Fisher. The Season 3 finale of Paris in The Summer I Turned Pretty will always be available to us, but sadly, little else. The reunion between Belly and Conrad in Paris was honest, painful, sexual, and gorgeous. Not only because I've been cheering for Belly and Conrad from the start, but I would have gladly watched 80 minutes of them together during and after Europe. The way they found each other again had a very vulnerable quality. Their love scene, which began on the banks of the Seine and finished in Belly's apartment, via a steamy cab ride in a happily deserted stairwell, far outshone anything that Belly and Jeremiah had ever shared. What had begun as something embarrassing turned into something mature and genuine. In the series finale, the spark that had been reignited in Conrad's point of view episode finally sprang to life. Perhaps more than anything else, I liked how Belly and Conrad both admitted that their relationship had gone awry. This was more than a brief amorous pause. Briney and Tongue's performances complemented each other brilliantly, and it was a chance for them to reconnect and put all of their cards on the table. Briney's portrayal has relied heavily on his body language, particularly Conrad's nervousness, so it was good to see him relax a bit and really embrace his emotions in this episode. Tongue's portrayal of Belly is no exception, particularly when Belly expressed her concern about Susanna's continued influence on their relationship. Between them, there were no more secrets. And who doesn't enjoy a last-minute declaration of love at a train station? Even though I loved Paris, it's unfortunate that we didn't witness much more of their relationship after that. The Summer I Turned Pretty ends with a drone shot of everyone's favorite beach house after a little time jump in which they are driving into Cousins. Although we are aware that they are still together in content, those final moments felt incomplete in some way, especially in light of everything that has transpired and the events of the book's 4-page epilogue, in which Belly informs the reader that she and Conrad got married. This may be related to Belly's last narration, which felt very bland for such a significant episode. The relationship between her and Conrad was not actually discussed, instead, it contained a few cliches about returning home and the promise of summer. After all, it was nice to see them enter the house together, but those adorable Christmas photos weren't enough, and there was something lacking. It almost seems like we were cheated out of more time with Belly and Conrad this season, given how much time was devoted to Belly and Jeremiah's relationship. The majority of this episode, however, was a dream. That crucial, transformative romance was expertly portrayed by Jenny Han and co-writer Sarah Kucserska, and The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, Episode 11 concluded as it should have, with Belly and Conrad, free and in love.